Live from Anderson Public Grill at 8060 Beachmont Avenue, this is Raptor Recap on USBNSports.com.
Yo!
USBNSports.com.
Hello! Whoa!
All right. Everybody, I'm Greg Ellis. This is Dan Albers. Former Anderson coach Vince Suriano is here. John Raymond's here. Thanks for joining us here. This is our third year doing it from this great location at Anderson Public Grill. Our show where we discuss everything revolving around the Anderson High School football program. It's our fifth show of the 2020. That's much better. Our fifth show of the 2025 season, and we got a lot to talk about tonight, as always. And before we get going, let's thank our sponsors. It's Cincy Garage Golf at Clough and Mount Carmel, Tabasco Roads. We got P&B Awards for supplying the plaques our weekly Varsity Players of the Week receive. And to Cherry Grove Wendy's, who will supply a meal to all winners from the varsity on down to Nagel 7th grade. They will receive meals to the Cherry Grove Wendy's. So also big thanks to Megan and Josh behind the bar for taking care of us all this year. All right, let's just get into it. In tonight's show, we're going to talk about Anderson's big 49-24 win against Kings to go to 5-0 in the season and 4-0 in the league. We'll talk about the highlights and the lowlights of that game. John Raymond's going to announce and interview the Varsity Players of the Week, and we'll present them with their plaques, and he will also interview the Players of the Week from the JV and the freshman teams. We will not have the Players of the Week from the Nagel 7th and 8th grade because they have games. They're playing games right now, so we'll double up on them next week. And also, we're very pleased to say we'll have Coach Suriano breaking down. He didn't really have to break down the film because he was there the other night, and he'll talk about the Kings game, and then we'll get ready for this week's home game against Milford. And Dan, we started slowly again, and had a couple silly penalties, and for the second time this year, we were behind to start that game, but the second quarter came and we kind of pulled away.
Yeah, it was amazing what they did, and we talked off air just how crazy it was that you would think that Anderson was going to have a running clock against Kings. I would have never thought that was going to happen, and it did, and kids played really, really well. And again, the only thing that we'll talk a little bit about later is this was the first game that we weren't the other team had more penalties than we did, so that's a good sign. But still, there were some things that I didn't like how we reacted, things that we did that we cannot do as the season goes along. So we'll talk about that. But man, I tell you what, we'll get into Owen too. He played unbelievable, played out of his mind, and it was awesome to watch. And kids played really, really well, and it was a big win. Kings is really good football team, and I think that was probably one of the few times that I've been at Kings where it was really quiet. I mean, you could hear a pin drop. I mean, it was really, really, really quiet, and I've never heard that stadium like that before, especially for an Anderson Kings game. So that was kind of cool to see.
Kings is ranked 10th in the state in Division II, so it's not like we were playing a team that we were going to roll over. That's a really good football team, and we really kind of put it to them.
Yep.
Let's recap how the scoring went. The first touchdowns of the game was Jackson Frisk caught a 26-yard touchdown pass from Grant Nuri for Kings. Extra point was good, and Anderson 3 minutes into the game was trailing 7-0. Tyson Weaver then caught the first of 4 touchdown passes from Owen Scaff a couple minutes later in the first quarter to tie it up at 7 apiece. Maddox Snyder kicked the extra point. That's the way the first quarter ended, 7-7. Second quarter, Kings went on top with a 23-yard field goal by Noah Magrino, and that made it 10-7. That was just 3 minutes into the second quarter, and from then on, it was Anderson's night. 3 minutes later, Tyson Weaver got a 43-yard touchdown pass from Owen Scaff. Maddox Snyder had the kick failed. That made it 13-10. 3 minutes after that, Tyson Weaver got another touchdown pass. This one was 60 yards from Owen Scaff. Jordan Davis got the 2-point conversion to make it 21-10. And finally, right before halftime, Anderson looked like we were going to 21-10 with a lead, and we got the ball back and went right down the field in no time. And Tegan Jelly cut a 25-yard touchdown pass from Owen Scaff. Maddox Snyder kicked the extra point. At halftime, it was 28-10, and we were teasing at halftime. Oh my gosh, we just get a couple touchdowns, we're gonna have a running clock, and by golly, did that happen. We started the third quarter. We scored 33 seconds into the second half. Tegan Jellick caught a 54-yard touchdown pass from Owen Scaff. Maddox Snyder kicked the extra point to make it 35-10. Grant Nuri, the quarterback for Kings, with a 9-yard run to make it 36-17. And then Braden Moore caught a 43-yard touchdown pass on the Anderson side of the field and took it in from 43 yards out to make it 42-7. And in the fourth quarter, Tyson Weaver with a 65-yard touchdown pass from Scaff to make it 49-17. And I don't have that last touchdown by Kings, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Anderson wins the game 49-24 to go to 5-0.
Yeah, unbelievable game, and we're going to get into our highlights and lowlights. And again, I said this in week one. I still have not taken his name off that front line right there, and it's Owen Scaff again. 21 for 37, 413 yards, and 7 touchdowns. That is absolutely incredible. 7 freaking touchdowns. That is unbelievable.
I'm sure almost everybody in this room knows this, but you know that right now Owen is second in the state of Ohio in passing.
Unbelievable. He's just having a great year, and so we haven't taken him off that front line. And then you had Tyson Weaver. He had another big game, 7 for 190 and 4 touchdowns. That's getting it done right there. Braden Moore had 1 reception for 43 yards. Tegan Jellick, 4 receptions, 124, and 2 touchdowns. And then here's another one that we've been talking about all the time. I mentioned it on air. I believe that he should be Defensive Player of the Year. Brady Kuhn, 12 tackles, 4 solo, 1.5 tackles for loss, and 1 pass defense. Guy is playing out of his mind right now. Antoine Higgins had a good game, 8 tackles, tackle and a half, solo, and tackle and tackle for loss and pass defense. Mark Mann had 10 tackles and 3 solo, and Ace Austin had 7 tackles, 3 solo, and 2 pass defense. And I'm going to give a shout out a couple special teams. We had our first punt of the year. Owen Scaff with a punt, baby. We had our first punt of the year for 19 yards. 19 yards, big punt there. And then we had Cooper Kathman had 3 returns for 45 yards, a long one of 37 yards. So that was some of that. And then finally, again, I said about the penalties, we did 6 for 60. It's still a little too much. I just don't like the extracurriculars after we score a touchdown and point in the face and all that stuff. I just don't like that, and that's going to really come back to haunt us in the playoffs. So hopefully that'll stop. But overall, the guys played absolutely out of their mind, and it was great to watch.
Sure was. And just remember this, it's not out of the question we won't face Kings again in the playoffs, because I'm sure that we're both going to be in the playoffs. So just keep that in mind. So again, a great showing, a great convincing win over a really good team in Kings. We'll get John up here, and he's going to go through the players of the week on the varsity, and then there were 3 great selections. So John, take it.
All right, guys. Well, what a great week. Whenever you beat Kings, it's a big week. So congratulations to everybody that's here tonight winning the Player of the Game award. But let's start off with the varsity players. I want to bring up our special teams Player of the Week first. Junior, number 3, Cooper Kathman. Come on up, Coop. So, Cooper, you're playing all over the place anyway, so a little bit of offense, but special teams, I've been saying this all the previous 4 weeks, how important that is becoming, and as we get ready to do the next 5 games, get ready for playoffs, special teams is so important, and it looks like you're finding your groove there.
I'm the snapper as well. I take special teams very seriously out on the field, getting kick returns, getting good field position for our offense.
Well, and there's no doubt about it, and we look like we're getting stronger and better, knowing our assignments. How much time in the film room do you guys actually work on stuff?
For special teams, not as much as you'd think, but we just got athletes out there and we just make plays on special teams.
Well, there's no doubt about that, because it's always somebody different every week too. Everybody's stepping up, but I thought the 37-yard run back that you had was at a key point in the game, and I don't think they were expecting number 3 to get the ball. Everybody was focusing in on number 2, and you're just another extra gear to make that thing work. So congratulations, and let's go get Milford this week.
Thanks.
All right.
All right.
Next up, we're going to bring up the Defensive Player of the Week. And again, Anderson's been playing just out of their minds when it comes to defense through the first 5 weeks. I know Coach is going to speak more on that, but let's bring up our Defensive Player of the Week, number 13, senior, Reed Baker. Great job, Reed. So, hey, I wanted to tell you a little bit. Between you, Brady, and Antoine, you guys are kind of the three pillars. And then with all the fresh legs coming in and out, defenses looked a little differently than it did last year. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. There's a lot of differences. We have to replace our whole D-line, so we're working a lot with that and getting them better every day. So, yeah, there's a lot of differences on the field.
Did you guys do anything? Kings' offense is so much like ours. When you guys were prepping last week, anything different you saw Friday night than you saw from the films?
Yeah. I mean, they kind of went back to some of their old formations, which is kind of what I expected. So that was good for me because I kind of knew that was coming. Yeah. I mean, film shows it. They went back to some of their old stuff. Didn't work. They tried some of the new stuff. Nothing really worked. They only really scored on broken plays, except for one methodical drive, but that's about all.
Well, there was at one point, I think we outscored them, 45-7, once we got things up and rolling. But the defense has just been playing out of their minds. You're a big piece of that. So congratulations on last week. Let's go get Milford.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Reed Baker.
And the guys have talked about this a little bit. So, our offensive player of the week that's his first Kings game. So we're excited that he's here, and what a night he had. So let's bring up junior number 1, Tyson Weaver. Come up, Tyson. So all year, I keep telling these guys at halftime, I said, we got to watch number 1 because it's going to get more and more important. But boy, Friday night, you found stuff across the middle and making great catches and long runs. They couldn't stop you.
Yeah, we seen they went mug and brought up 6 in the box and just kept blitzing, and Coach Dyer put me in the position to run slants to get over the middle, and I just got to thank Owen and the O-line giving Owen time to throw the ball and Owen just delivering the ball.
Well, there's no doubt, and again, you guys are becoming a pretty awesome duo out there, but with all the receivers, it's hard for a defense to try and who we're going to cover and who we're going to, between number 12 and number 1 and number 10 and all you guys, it's just unbelievable. 4 touchdowns, and if you guys didn't notice this on Channel 5, he was the primetime performer of the week, and that was big for Anderson and for Tyson himself, so that was awesome. So getting ready for Milford, again, you're playing these teams for the very first time. Their defense is kind of down on their numbers, so I'm assuming you guys are watching lots of film and getting ready for what we can do offensively to go get them.
Yeah, we seen their defense isn't as good as they usually are, but we're not underlooking the competition. We're just going to go out there and play our game and how we usually do as an offense and as a team.
Well, I told you this before you came up here. I said we don't want to look past Milford because obviously Turpin's coming up. And you're going to have that experience for the first time. But, yeah, we got to get rid of those Eagles first. So congratulations on this week. Let's go have a big game on Friday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Tyson.
Tyson Weaver.
Hey, Vince, you would have been proud of me bringing a little bit of the old coach and then the broadcaster out. I did, if anybody was out there listening, before one of his touchdowns, I called it, and it happened. So I was watching film, I listened to what you said, and I picked up on it. I want to pat myself on the back for that one. That was pretty good.
He really did do that.
Thank you.
All right, let's just move ahead here. We're pleased to have with us, as always, former Anderson head coach Vince Suriano. He was a head coach at Anderson, the offensive coordinator at Mount St. Joe. He coached at UC, and he's currently the color commentator for Spectrum Sports. And he was there. He was doing the game the other night, and I think he enjoyed it. And I'm sure he enjoyed it. And we'll get his thoughts on it, and we'll look ahead to Milford. Coach Vince Suriano.
Thank you. I got to say, as I'm breaking this stuff down, there's thoughts that go through my mind and things I write down on the legal pad, and I was even doing that during the game. I had the legal pad in front of me, and I was writing down things I wanted to talk about here on Tuesday. But it's amazing how perceptive you players are, because I coached for 43 years and been active in the game for 50 now, and the things that I'm thinking are the same things that you guys are saying, and you're high school football players. You guys are way ahead of the curve of what you see and what you understand. And you are to be commended for that you guys study the game so hard and you have that understanding.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The next thing I want to bring out has nothing to do about the game itself. We were in the press box doing the game, and it was the Skyline Chili game of the week. Also, I don't know if you guys knew that, and I don't like how they do it now, to be honest with you, because when I was the coach at Anderson, it was a huge event at Nippert Stadium, and they would have, I think, 2 games on Friday and then 4 on Saturday, and it was really a big honor to get invited to it. It was like getting invited to a bowl game, and it's different now. But anyway, we're doing the game, and Tim and I are calling the game, and a lady, somebody comes in the booth, and they tap on my shoulder. Well, I thought it was a tech guy needed to make an adjustment on our equipment. And I turn around, and it's some older lady my age, and she taps me on the shoulder. Now, we're on the air. She says, "Hey, I'm here to get my Skyline Chili ticket." And I'm calling the game. And I turned around, and I said, "I don't have your Skyline Chili ticket." She goes, "Well, they told me to come up here to the booth and get the ticket." And we're trying to do the game, and I said, "Oh, that's good, lady. This isn't the Skyline booth." So I thought you guys would enjoy that.
That is good.
All right, my perspective on a few things here. First of all, it was a huge win. Everybody knows that. Not in my wildest dreams that I think it was going to be a running clock, because when I broke down both teams, they're both really good football teams. But I think, and I told Tim Bray this, and I even said this on the air, I think Anderson made a statement in that game, because that game was statewide. That just wasn't Southwest Ohio. Everybody in Cleveland saw that game. I says it showed the state why Anderson is the #1 ranked team in the state of Ohio, and you guys played like the #1 team. I thought answering right after, coming back with a touchdown after King scored a TD, I thought that was critical and that was crucial. Okay, you scored, now we're going to come back and we're going to score. I got to compliment Owen, 7 TD passes against a good team for 413 yards. I coached for 43 years. I can't remember the last time I saw a quarterback throw 7 touchdowns in one game. That's phenomenal, son.
Absolutely.
The other thing that Anderson's team did very well, and I would like to compliment the coaches on that, is they kept their poise when they were behind. No one panicked. No one got out of character. And I think players get their read from the coaches. And the coaches were composed. They were analytical. And, okay, this is what we have to do. And I think that was very good. I think Anderson won with a big pass play offense. They were taking their chances. They were going to, as Tyson said, they were going to mug the linebackers and come with those 6-man blitzes, and Anderson never panicked. I thought the TD before the half and the TD at the opening of the second half were huge. It was a huge momentum changer. Tim and I even mentioned this on the air. You could just hear the air come out of the stadium. That really had an effect on their confidence of whether they thought they could win. And I thought that was a great pooch punt. You say it was only 19 yards, but I thought it was a great pooch punt because it flipped the field position. It put them on the other side of the 50, and I thought that flipped the field. And Tyson Weaver played a great game, making 4 big catches, 4 TDs, ran those routes great. Again, I can't remember the last time I saw somebody get 4 touchdown passes. That was on what I saw on offense. Defensively, I thought the defense made big stops on 4th down at critical times in the game. When they needed to make the first downs, they couldn't get them. And something that struck me odd from breaking them down, Kings' game plan was for the quarterback, Grant Nuri, to run the ball, which was smart, okay? Because their analysis of Anderson defense, Reed, was that you guys were so fast in pursuing to the football that they wanted to give you guys, particularly you linebackers, something to think about. That's why he kept going this way and then pulling the ball and coming the other way. They were trying to slow you guys down. And really, philosophically, that's a good idea. Plus, when your quarterback is 6'4" and weighs 220 pounds, and you've got to tackle him and tackle him and tackle him, he was a physical kid, and I think he's a good quarterback. And ironically, there's a lot of colleges that are recruiting him, and they're recruiting him, they want him to play another position. But I think he's really a good quarterback. He runs a 4.59 40, and at 6'4", 220, when you can run a 4.59, that's pretty good. Anderson's defense completely took away the running back running game. Max Lockwood had had good games prior to that at number 26, and he could get nothing. So you really kind of made them one-dimensional, or maybe two-dimensional, either run the quarterback or throw the ball. Defense, great pursuit, especially on the perimeter plays, because they had the same philosophy in terms, they wanted to get the ball out in space to their playmakers, but the pursuit was so good, then it also eliminated the big plays. Once they did get open, the pursuit contained them. Contained a very good quarterback with pass pressure and really good pass defense. They were never really open. Other than that first touchdown pass, they really didn't have anybody open. The bottom line was Anderson beat a very good and a very well-coached team. Now, looking forward, as a coach, you always worry about what your team's going to be like after a big game, because emotionally, you've put so much into that game, and then you're playing a team that has a 1-4 record, and then you have a rivalry game the next week. And just a quick story, in 1996 we had a really good football team, and we had only lost one game going into week 9. We had beaten Turpin in week 8, and it was a really big game, and then we had Taft, who was really bad that year, week 9. Then we had St. X for all the marbles the next week. And Taft came in, and I think they'd only won one game, and we had only lost one game, and we were in week 9, and we go in at halftime, and it was 6-6. And I went in and I kind of ripped our team. I said, guys, ironically, Taft hasn't been reading the newspaper all week, and they haven't been looking and seeing how bad that they're supposed to get beat. So unless we get it in gear and decide we're going to play football, the St. X game might not mean anything. So we went out in the second half and scored 40 points. But I just think as you guys look into this game, and I don't like to speak for coaches, but I've been in this position before. Not only is it about Milford, you just can't look at, Milford's this, and they're 1-4. It's about, you guys got to look at, it's about us. How much better are we getting in this next game? Each week, you just want to keep getting better. It doesn't have to be great jumps, but you want to keep getting better, and it's about us, how hard we play and how much we improve. Now, I'll get into Milford. Okay. Now, obviously, Milford does not have a good record. They're 1-4 at the time. Offensively, I always talk about the offense and defense. They're 4th in the ECC in passing, they're 7th in rushing, and they're 7th overall. I know Tom Grippa, the head coach. I coached against Tom Grippa quite a few times. I coached against him when he was at Elder. I coached against him when he was at Fairfield. We played them in the Crosstown Showdown down at Nippert. I mean, we were in some big games. He's a veteran coach. He is a good coach. Milford is a pass-first offense. They use 4 wide receivers. They throw the ball 64% of the time. Am I right on that, Reed? Are they 64%?
It's actually 80%.
Okay. All right. Well, the games I've worked at, they were 64%. Now, but their philosophy is, just from coaching against Grippa, he wants to run the quick game. He wants to run a stop or an out at the sticks, and then he'll throw the deep fade. That's been his MO throughout his whole career of calling plays. The O-line coach from Milford is an Anderson grad and Anderson football captain. His name is Eric Seibert, and he was one of the co-captains of the 1994 team with Timmy Albers, Joe Warner, Trevor Ellison, who's at Nagel, and Jake Andriadis. They were the captains of that 94 team. Their philosophy, passing rushing game is they want to get the ball out quickly to take the pressure off of the offensive line. They do use some condensed formations. That's bringing everybody in tight, so there's room on the outside to try to get the ball out there quickly. They do use what you call a zone RPO series, where the quarterback will make a fake and he can throw out on the perimeter to a bubble or a quick screen. They do that. They basically have 3 runs. They run an inside zone, they run a one-back power like Anderson does, and then they run outside. They run what's called the buck sweep that Anderson runs, where you pull both guards. Those are their three base runs. In the games that I broke down and looking at some of their stats, they've got a total of 244 yards rushing in 5 games, which isn't a lot, unless they didn't enter a game when I looked at the stats. Their quarterback, Jaden Bodley, he's number 9. He's 80 of 138 for 800 yards. He's a 58% passer. They don't have anyone rushing over 100 yards in 5 games. Defensively, Matt, I was trying to figure out their defense. It's a 3-man front. Sometimes it looks like a 3-4. Sometimes it's a 3-3. Sometimes they'll walk an outside linebacker up and have 4 guys up on the line of scrimmage to get a 4-man front. They like to play at times with 2 high safeties. When you play with 2 high safeties, the coverage that they use, their safeties are the primary fillers, which means they're susceptible to the play action pass over top. When they play 4 deep, they play loose corners you can throw in front of them. Defensively, their line is pretty big and physical, but they have a lot of problems when the ball is in space. Once the ball gets in space, they really have a difficult time. If a quarterback pulls the ball down and runs it, they have a tough time. If you get the ball on the perimeter and he's in space, they have a tough time pursuing and corralling him. They have downhill north-south linebackers that are aggressive, but what happens is when you have north-south linebackers, you're vulnerable to the things on the outside. So if you play action pass here and throw out on the perimeter, the linebackers are stuck inside here. They're not much help out on the perimeter. And of course, anytime you have vertical linebackers, they're susceptible to the play action pass. They have a linebacker named Jake Dixon who leads the ECC in tackles with 70 tackles. He's number 26th. Cover up your ears on this one, Owen. They're 8th in the league in defense, which is last in the ECC. So, but you can never go by that. You just got to go out and you got to play football. All righty? I wish you guys well this week. And I do get to go to the game because we're off on Spectrum this week.
So I don't have to text you.
So you don't have to text me. I'll be standing
Nor did you have to text him this past week. So West Claremont scored 35 points on Milford last week.
Yes.
And only put the ball up 3 times.
2 times.
2 times.
2 times.
I think
West Claremont had 65 plays and they ran 63 of them, and one of the passes was from the Wildcat quarterback Landon Young.
Yep. So anyway, we appreciate it, Vince. Great breakdown, and
thanks, Vince.
We look forward to the game this Friday at home. Dan, you want to talk about this for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Well, sure.
We got this thing here the Anderson High School Touchdown Club is doing. It's a bourbon basket raffle. Enter to win an amazing basket over here. Fana what? 7 bourbon bottles. Only 100 tickets will be sold. I can't even name some. Eagle Rare, Buffalo Trace, Small Batch 17. I don't even know what that first one is. Woodford Reserve, Blaine Single Barrel. 4 runs a single barrel.
That's why I wanted you to read it.
I wasn't going to do it because I was afraid I was going to mess it up. $20 per raffle ticket, cash or Venmo, and it's right here if you guys would like to look at it and do all that stuff. You can read that first one. I was afraid I was going to mess it up.
All right, thank you. We'll get John back up here. As we said, the Nagel folks aren't here tonight. They're playing football right now. We'll double up on them next week, and we'll have 2 sets of players of the week for each of the 7th and 8th grade teams next week. But then we'll get John back up here. We'll go through the JV and the freshman players of the week.
All right, let's go ahead and do the JV next. They also won this week, 46-7. So it was a nice win for the JV group. And again, whenever you get Kings coming in the house, to get a W is big, doesn't matter what level it is. So we got offense and defense to talk about, and let's go ahead and bring up our defensive player first, junior number 29, Jackson Taylor. So, Jackson, when I first saw Taylor, I'm thinking, I think we did a Taylor already, so I guess you got to catch up with brother, huh? So that's okay. But, hey, big game for you guys. As, after that emotional win on Friday night and being there Friday and then getting home, you probably got home fairly late. What time do you guys have to get up and get back to the field on Saturday mornings?
Well, the game starts at 11, so we got to get there around 7:30, 7-something, pretty much every morning.
So, in preparing for that, I know you guys kind of go through the same stuff all the varsity players because you never know when you're going to get thrown in, but was there any adjustments from Friday night to Saturday morning thinking, hey, we're going to have to do something because King's going to throw something different at us?
Well, we kind of used the same thing that varsity did because varsity did so well, so we just basically called whatever they were going to call.
All right, well, and that's how it all works, right? So, no doubt. And then tell me a little bit about scoring-wise. I know that's the offensive side, but holding them to 7 points, were they throwing the ball, or was it pretty much like Friday night and you guys just did your defensive thing?
They tried to throw the ball, but they couldn't really move the ball anywhere, whether they ran it or passed it.
All right, and then getting ready for this week, I'm watching film and all that stuff. Milford's always going to be tough when they come in. It doesn't matter what we do. You guys see anything different this week, or are you just preparing like normal and go get it on Saturday?
We're just going to prepare like we do every week and just be ready for the game.
Very good. Congratulations on this week. All right, pal.
Jackson Taylor.
Our JV Offensive Player of the Week is a two-time winner already this season. Man. So we're going to bring up number 86, Connor Castile. Come on up, Connor.
Wow.
So, man, 2 out of 5, not bad. You just got to keep rolling. So, great job. I did hear that someone got their first catch for a TD this game. Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
All right, walk us through that a little bit. Who was the quarterback at the time, and how long of a pass was it? What kind of defense? What were you up against?
It was down on the goal line. Jeremiah had just got hurt, so Cooper was in at quarterback. It was just like a quick little slit pass. We were up by so much, it was kind of influential, but or like non-influential, but it was cool, yeah.
Hey, 6 is 6, man, and no matter how you get it, that's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So obviously, scoring as much as you guys scored, offense was clicking on all cylinders. Were you guys moving the ball pretty good all throughout the game?
Yeah, for sure. The O-line played really well. Jeremiah played well until he got hurt, and all the receivers were doing good too. So all cylinders. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go do it again against Milford. Okay. Yeah. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you. Good job. Yeah.
And then lastly, our freshman team, we got a sweep against Kings, which is always good. They won 20-16, so we're going to bring up the player of the game for the freshman, number 10. He's a safety, Sebastian Dietrich. Come on up, Sebastian. So obviously a little tougher game, right? So tell me a little bit about playing safety. Obviously it was more of a defensive struggle. Did you guys set up anything different, or did you notice anything from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, or it was just one of those tough games that you had to go play?
It was just a really tough game. We noticed on film that they throw the ball more than pretty much any other team. So we ran a little more like, we call it roll, where we drop back more, and then we got a pick. And we got a lot of punts, and we got the ball back to the offense.
And let them do their thing, and then you guys just had to hold up. So obviously a good game all over around. So congratulations. Get ready for Milford. Go get them. All right, pal. Great job.
All right. Thank you, John. John doing a great job with his presentations, and John does a great job on the Friday nights on the field. Unfortunately, we couldn't get to Coach Dreyer after the game because of all the hoopla with the crosstown
because they had to go to Owen, and Owen had to get his chain and everything. So we're going to blame Owen for that one because he had a good game.
So let's look at the scores around the ECC. Of course, we beat Kings 49-24. We go to 5-0, 4-0 in the league. Kings is 4-1 and 3-1 in the league. Lebanon beat Little Miami 49-32. Lebanon, Division I score. They are now 4-1 and 3-1 in the league. Little Miami goes to 1-4 and 1-3. You have to think that Lebanon has a good chance of making the Division I playoffs. West Claremont beat Milford 35-21. As we just talked about, West Claremont now 2-3, 1-3 in the league. Milford 1-4 and 1-3 in the league. Turpin beat Loveland 15-7. They go to 3-2 on the league, or 3-2 overall, and then 3-1 in the league. Loveland goes to 1-4 and 1-3 in the league. And again, we don't want to look ahead, but that's on the horizon here, playing against Turpin a week from Friday. Finally, Winton Woods took care of business against Walnut Hills 48-7. Winton Woods goes to 4-1, 3-1 in the league. Walnut Hills 1-4 and 0-4, 1-4 overall and 0-4 in the league.
Yeah, like you said, we don't want to look forward to Turpin, but I'll just let everybody know. I'll start releasing my videos on Monday for the Anderson-Turpin final, the great finishes in Anderson High School history over Turpin. So you'll start seeing those Monday, getting a little ahead of myself, but I always love doing that because it makes a lot of people upset with me, and I love it. So you'll see those on Monday, come Monday.
We got some great ones. The first game we ever did, as we talked about them many times here on Tuesday nights, the first game we did in 1991 is when Lou Andreas took it over from the 2-yard line in the last seconds of the game to beat Turpin. That was 1991.
Yep.
And of course, if somebody asked me what's your favorite game of all time, it was when we beat Turpin down there at Princeton to get to the Final Four in the state. The year we eventually won the state championship.
So many good ones.
But there's lots of them. So
you'll see them. You'll see them soon.
And we again had a good viewership this past week. What did we have, Danny?
Yeah, we had 1266. So we are just kicking butt on people. We're averaging almost 1,200 a broadcast, and I didn't think we'd have that many with it being on Spectrum, but it was really a good turnout again, and we had multiple people all over just dropping us emails and stuff. So it is awesome that everybody, and then this turnout that we have here each week is really incredible, and that's why we love doing it. That helps it out when we get a good following. So thank you everyone for tuning in and watching us on Friday nights.
That's right. John, do you have an alumni moment?
I do. Hold on for a second here, buddy.
Dan's got to turn me on.
There you go.
I want to make one other thing with Sebastian. I forgot to mention that he did have an interception and had a couple of key tackles in that 2016 win. So again, Sebastian, great job, bud.
All right.
Okay. So every week we try and do a little bit of Anderson football history, and today I'm going to talk about the 1961-1962 school year. The principal up in Anderson was Wayne Titus, who, the one wing of the school is named after. They had 158 graduates, and the 1961 season was Team 23. This is Team 86, so it goes back to where head coach was Joe Miller, and they only dressed 35 players on Friday nights. So it was down and dirty football back then. So, but also in 1961, they hadn't won a championship in many years, and Team 23 goes 7-2-1 with wins that wins the Hamilton County League, and in-conference wins against Taylor, Coleraine, Sycamore, Finneytown, Oak Hills, Princeton, and they tied with Norwood. So just talking about those schools on how some have gotten smaller and some have gotten just huge. It's interesting that we were all in conference together, but that was the first league championship in 14 years, and it took another 11 or 12. I'll talk about the 73 team next, but 61 team was a special team, and one of the very first Hall of Famers to come out of Anderson was that group, and that was Forrest Heiss. And if you're ever up at Anderson, walk down through the Hall of Fame, and you'll see his plaque, and he was a special player and a great Anderson graduate. So Forrest was one of our very first jersey retirements in the Hall of Fame. So that's the 1961 Team 23.
Yeah, you know what's really cool about that is I have film from the 1961 championship game that Anderson has. One of the guys had it, and it was on a reel-to-reel, and they went ahead and I got it converted, and it's the coolest thing to watch. Obviously, black and white, guys. It's a lot different back then, but it's really cool to watch that game and see the crowd on the sideline and everything, and it's really cool that we're able to get that from one of the guys that was able to find that video. So pretty neat thing.
That's very cool. We were talking. I don't know if you folks saw this, but we have so many players leaving Anderson and continuing with their football careers at the next level. And I just jotted down a few names here. I just want to go through real quick. The reason I did is because I don't know if you saw it, but Tulsa beat Oklahoma State this week, and today Oklahoma State fired their coach. But anyway, one of the reasons why Tulsa beat Oklahoma State is because Brody Foley caught a touchdown pass, 2 other passes to help Tulsa beat Oklahoma State. So I'm sure I'm going to miss somebody, but I just jotted some from last year's team. You got Justin Burnham at Georgetown. You got Trace Jellick at Mercyhurst, Caden Penick at Central Florida, Jalen Saunders at Mercyhurst, Alex Stanyard at Georgetown, Darrell Turner at Georgetown. From the year before, you got Brody Berg at Davidson, TJ Nelson at Bowling Green, Jack Samarco started his career at West Virginia. Now he is at Alabama.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Bobby Stanyard, Ohio Northern, is that right? Yes. That's right, that's what I thought. Let's see, Griffin Scaff, obviously Thomas Moore, Santos Alvarez started at Kentucky, he's moved on to Murray State. And then, of course, we could go further back. Zeke Carell started Notre Dame, he went to North Carolina. And then, for sure, I knew 3 Anderson graduates that played in the NFL. And the first one I thought of was Sean Burdick. He punted for the Bengals, and I think he went to
the Cowboys and he got cut. He didn't actually make the team, but he was real close to making the team. So,
and then of course, from the state championship team in 2008, why did we have such a good running game? Because our tackle and our guard were right next to each other. They ended up playing in the NFL together. Well, not together, but Andrew Norwell and Greg Mans went on to play in the NFL for several years. In fact, at one point, Andrew Norwell was the highest paid lineman in football, and he was a 2010 graduate of Anderson. So anyway, it's kind of cool to see players go on to the next level like that.
I think the one that I remember from way back when, and he's in the Hall, isn't it Steve Lanhard that played with the Packers? Yep. And he was back in the 70s. I think that's the one that I kind of remember. That was the one before everybody, like before Norwell and Mans. But it's kind of crazy that all these guys are playing at the next level, and it's pretty awesome to watch.
Yeah, it sure is. For our struggle for the stake, you've heard us talk about this before every game. All the guys that do broadcast the games, we get together, we predict how many points we think Anderson's going to score, and whoever has the most points at the end of the season, the other 6 guys has to cough up and pay for him for a steak dinner or a pork chop dinner, whatever we get at El Coyote. But Dale Adams got the first three points this year. Last week, Brad got it. This week, Dale stayed with his routine. He predicted 50. We all laughed at him when he said that, but look at they had 49. But Steve Martin, our stat man. He said 48, so Steve Martin and Dale split the points. So at this point in the season, Dale's got 3.5, Brad's got 1, and Steve Martin's got half.
What do we have?
And me and Danny, we've done this for many years. We've never won ever.
That's sad. That is sad.
And you probably would know that just from listening to his talk. So anyway.
Sad.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks again to the folks up here at the Anderson Public Grill for allowing us to broadcast from this great location. And again, big thanks to Megan and Josh behind the bar. Thank you so much. The Football Moms, the Touchdown Club, for all their support. Don't forget the bourbon basket that they have. You can contact Melanie to get the tickets. Is that right, Melanie? Anderson AD Chris Newton, the best in the city, for making sure we have everything we need. And our crew every week, John Raymond on the field, Dale Adams, our cameraman. This week, Dale couldn't make it, so we had John Stiff.
So much better to look at, too, I'm telling you.
And now we got Krista Albers helping us tonight here, so we appreciate her help. Todd Racer, our engineer, giving us all the replays, which is so cool. Our stat man, Steve Martin, and Brad Ellis, who spots and fills in where we need him, and he will be on stats Friday night if Steve can't make it. So, and again, thanks to another great crowd here at Anderson Pub and Grill, and we appreciate your support. And
yeah, just remember again, if you're out there going to watch it and we're streaming, it's a free stream, so people have been hitting us up and scamming us, so don't hit on it. If it starts to say that you're being paid, it's a scam, so don't do it. So ours is totally free, so just keep that in mind. But again, we appreciate everybody watching. Vince will not be here next week. We're going to have more of the Nagel guys back, so we'll have a lot of that, and we'll have a lot of, I think what I'm going to do is probably play some of those highlights for you guys. So being a big Turpin week, I always get into this. I might even wear my old Letterman jacket. I can still fit in it.
Oh, my goodness.
Looks like fat man in a little coat. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's worth coming to see right there.
I might have to do that to see if I can pull the old jersey out. But thanks again, guys. We really appreciate you guys. I'll listen each week.
Thanks so much. Let's go meet Milford.